Good morning, 5 o'clock the time. Top stories we're working on at this hour. A water main break results in lane closures on Van Ness Avenue. Those expect to stay closed until 6 this morning. Crews are repairing the damage. We'll have an update on that repair work in just a moment. And BART negotiations continue as Thursday's deadline looms. BART and its unions, though, say they've made progress over the weekend at the bargaining table. We'll have complete details coming up. And we're also following the fog out there this morning. It is rather thick. A live look here at the Golden Gate Bridge. Hard to make out the bridge at all for all that fog out there. Let's get over to the Weather Center right now and get our first look at it with Evelyn Taft. Good morning, Ev.
Good morning, James. We're taking a look at your numbers for today because today certainly the warmest day of the weekend. Much cooler for you. 80s through your inland spots, 60s around the bay with 50s by the coast. James.
All right, Evelyn, thank you very much. A couple headlines for you new this morning. In fact, the latest developments now out of BART. We want to talk about that right now. The labor talks continued over the weekend. Union officials and, of course, members of the of management were meeting over the weekend. Both sides actually did say there was some progress over the weekend, so that's some good news, although the talks fell short of an actual agreement. This as that Thursday deadline looms, that deadline set by management last week. So we'll get you updated on where talks stand as we move through the week and approach that deadline. In the meantime, in the South Bay, Santa Clara VTA invites the public to learn more about BART's Silicon Valley Extension Project. There are 3 upcoming community meetings in San Jose. A proposed 16.1-mile BART extension would expand the system through Milpitas, Santa Clara, and into San Jose. The meetings will feature, we understand, a presentation on current and near-term project activities, anticipated schedules, and funding status. You can find out everything you want to know about this project by attending these meetings. The next one, incidentally, will be held tomorrow at 6 p.m. Now on to the latest developments with a water main break in San Francisco over the weekend. One and only one northbound lane of Van Ness Avenue is open at this hour because the other two of the 3 shut down. Crews trying to fix this problem right here, a water main break that happened early Sunday morning. The lane closures will be in effect till 6 o'clock this morning. We understand crews obviously trying to fix those or make those repairs as fast as possible. The rupture caused the pavement to basically collapse. There was quite a big hole there, bulging, cracking on the road surface. All of that had to be repaired over the weekend. The break was reported, as we said, about 3:30 in the morning between Vallejo and Pacific Avenue. So right there at Van Ness, pretty much at Broadway. The 8-inch water main was ruptured due to basically age. They say the pipeline had just gotten so old it finally gave out. In fact, they say a number of lines in the area are nearly 100 years old, and this won't be the last of the water mains that they're going to have to fix here as each of those old lines begins to crack because of age. All right, at 5:05, let's get over to the traffic center right now. George Rask actually keeping an eye on your commute this morning, and at this, well, I wouldn't say it's a minor closure because a lot of folks use Van Ness.
That's right, James. It's a major closure, but so far the impact of it is minor. Traffic's pretty light right now. But, you know, you take the Broadway tunnel problems that we had last week. This affects the same route because it's right near Broadway where so many people will come from Lombard onto Van Ness and then make this left-hand turn here at Broadway or continue farther south along Van Ness Avenue down to Bush Street before turning into the financial district. So both of those are going to be affected. Now, if they get lanes reopened by 6, that will be in time to really obviate any major traffic jams. Certainly keeping our eyes on Van Ness Avenue in San Francisco. James.
All right, George, thank you very much. Now on to some new details this morning on that border agent shooting over the weekend. 4 men now have been arrested in connection with the murder of Agent Robert Rosas. This is actually an aerial video of the scene where he was shot. All 4 suspects, we understand, were picked up in Mexico. They're suspected of being part of some immigrant smuggling ring. One suspect, we understand, did tell police that one of the men that was arrested on Friday was the trigger man, the man who actually pulled the trigger. He was arrested in Mexico near the area of the shooting. And apparently was in possession of a gun that is specifically designed for border agents. So they're looking to see now if this was the weapon that was issued to the border agent who was killed. They're going to take a look at that. In the meantime, authorities did question 3 people who were treated at a hospital in San Jose Friday. Haven't said yet whether or not those people might be involved in the shooting of the border agent, but as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. In the meantime, at 8 past the hour now, a quick update on the budget battle in Sacramento. California may be about to emerge from its latest fiscal crisis, but don't expect to see state agencies like the DMV open every day of the week anytime soon. For the next 11 months, as a matter of fact, most state agencies and departments will remain closed 3 Fridays a month as part of a plan to eliminate most of the state's multi-billion-dollar deficit. Faced, of course, with the prospect of closing a $42 billion gap in February, the governor ordered state workers to be furloughed for the first and third Fridays every month, a move that's projected to save about $1.3 billion. While the state might be saving money, the furloughs amount to an effective pay cut of about 15% for most state employees. And here's a quick look at some of the state agencies that are still open on Furlough Friday. So these are the ones that are open: state hospitals, state prisons, state parks, parole offices, the California Highway Patrol, obviously, and the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. Their stations will remain open, as will the Franchise Tax Board, as well as the constitutional offices. All right, another update for you here on the situation with NUMMI. It will continue to build cars through October, at least. But what happens after that is still unknown. Union members were told that yesterday. NUMMI chief executives told the plant's 4,500 workers in a handwritten note Friday that he had enough orders for new cars to keep them busy through October, thanks in part to the federal government's Cash for Clunkers initiative. He said, but after that point, they're not sure. Union officials said yesterday that NUMMI, as a legal entity, could soon be dissolved or file for bankruptcy. But they told workers that a series of tax incentives being pushed through the state legislature could induce Toyota to take over the 380-acre site, which is, right at this point, the only automotive factory west of the Mississippi. So we'll see if maybe that bit of state legislation will convince Toyota to keep NUMMI open. We'll see. Meanwhile, astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour are gearing up for their 5th and final spacewalk. They'll be rearranging some power cables. And there's the wake-up call this morning. Nice way to wake up. Pleasant song there. They'll be rearranging some power cables and some hookups as well. They'll work on the robotic arm. They'll install some cameras on a brand new porch for the Japanese space lab, the Kibo Space Lab. Endeavour will be undocked from the International Space Station tomorrow. Oh, and here are some live pictures this morning of them floating around out there right now, getting their work done. The shuttle has been docked at the International Space Station for a week and a half now. Their mission marks the most people now that have been in space at one time on the station. 13 people in all aboard that space station. And as you recall, one of the toilets broken. Not fun. 5:10 the time. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more here on the Kron 4 Morning News, so stay with us.